Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 34 of the Drop It Weight Loss Wellness Wisdom podcast. If it's your first time on the podcast, welcome. I am your host, Nick Geoppo, and 5 years ago, I lost 110 pounds after a lifetime of losing weight and then gaining it back, and I have since dedicated my life to helping other people do the same. So if you want to lose weight, you want to feel better in your own body, you want to have a healthier relationship with food, and develop self-belief through losing weight and actually keeping the weight off, then you are in the right place. Episode 34 is brought to you by our very own community. The Drop It community has been open for 1 month. It is the structure you need to lose weight and the support you need to stick to the plan. If you want to join our community, click the link in the podcast description, and we will see you on the inside. The topic of today's episode is cheat meals. Now, how many people here have ever had a cheat meal? Because when I was fat as fuck, I used to have cheat meals all the time. Sometimes they were planned and sometimes they weren't planned. You know, I would plan out my week and have an idea of what I was going to meal prep and be really obsessive and have everything totally measured out to the gram and know how many carbs and how much protein and how much fat, how many calories, and sometimes even the times when I would be eating, and I'd be really meticulous about planning things. Sometimes, not all the time. I was very all or nothing. So some weeks I'd be very meticulous. Some weeks I wouldn't give a fuck and just wing it the whole time. And I had varying levels of success with both of those different things. But I always had cheat meals. They were either planned or unplanned. So a planned cheat meal would be like, it was Sunday night and I was doing my meal prep for the week, and I'd go, okay, on Thursday night, I'm going to have a cheat meal, eat a Domino's pizza or whatever that might look like. And then Saturday night, I'm going to go out drinking with my friends. I'm going to have 6 drinks. And then if I have 6 drinks, I'm going to get a double cheeseburger and a large fry and a milkshake. So I'd plan out where I was going to be eating in excess, or when I was going to be eating food that I just knew was dog shit, even though most of the food I was eating was dog shit anyway. But there's really 6 reasons why cheat meals are total bullshit. The only time when I was ever able to lose weight and keep the weight off is when I just let the idea of cheat meals die. And reason number one is that when you cheat on your diet, that means that you are on a diet. And if you've been following me for some time and listening to this podcast for some time, you know that I feel the idea of dieting is inherently unsustainable. It doesn't make any sense. Because it's a means to an end. Like the idea of going on a weight loss diet, who are you after you hit your weight loss goal? Who are you after you get off track, right? It promotes the whole off track, on track thing that we talk about all the time. So we are not dieting here in this community. The Drop It community is not dieting. We are prioritizing our health. And we are prioritizing our health on something that we call the common sense diet, which is facetious. It's not really a diet at all. It's a lifestyle change rooted in common sense and simplicity. And the reason why is you cannot diet forever. You can absolutely prioritize your health forever. So never say that you're on a diet if you're looking to lose weight. Just say that you're prioritizing your health. And when you're in a situation, this is what I ended up having to do. If I could go back and speak to my old fat self 8, 9, 10 years ago, I would push the idea of not cheating on my diet, but instead just eating mom's apple pie when she makes it. This is one of the rules. I believe it's rule number 8 of the common sense diet. Eat mom's apple pie when she makes it. And what this means is live for the experience versus living for the food, right? So living for the experience is you have a planned dinner with your friends and you go out and you enjoy the evening with your friends, and the food is a part of the experience. Versus living for the food is I'm going out with my friends because I want to get that food. Like the food is the experience, right? You go to the barbecue and you're at the barbecue and you have a hot dog because everyone else is having a hot dog, versus you go to the barbecue because you want the hot dogs, and the hot dogs become the experience. Let the food enhance the experience of what you're doing. Let eating mom's apple pie enhance the connection with your mom and the memories of eating that apple pie when you were a kid. That's a very American example for those of you that are not in the United States. Eating mom's apple pie is kind of a stereotype here. Versus going to mom's house to get apple pie and then eating a bunch of it and then bringing it home, right? Like there's a difference between those two things. Eat mom's apple pie when she makes it instead of cheating on your diet, and live for the experience versus living for the food. The number one reason why cheat meals are bullshit is because to have a cheat meal, that means that you're on a diet. And dieting is not sustainable for most people. You don't have to be on a diet. You can just prioritize your health by eating healthier foods in healthier quantities. Number 2 is planning cheat meals and having cheat meals makes you think about food all the time. Like, it makes you just think about food all the time. And it makes it so that, in the example I gave earlier, where Thursday night I'm planning my first cheat meal, it's Sunday night, I've got 3 days of being really good and then 1 day of planned being bad. It just becomes this thing that you start, you're thinking about constantly throughout the week. I can't wait to get to my cheat meal. I got to be dialed in so I can get to the goal is not just to lose weight and keep the weight off, right? That's our primary goal. But there's also you don't want to be thinking about food all the time. And a lot of these people that are making content online that are talking about cheat meals, that are talking about if it fits your macros, calories, it's all about calories in, calories out, and getting the right protein. Yes, those things are true, but those things don't take into account that we don't want to be counting fucking calories for the rest of our life. It doesn't take into account that we don't want to be having to plan out our meals every day for the rest of our life. We want to actually learn the skills and learn the relationship with food where we can exist in an environment without having the food be the environment. We want to be able to go and enjoy our day without thinking about, God, I can't wait till I get to my cheat meal. It just creates a mental state for me and for so many people that I work with one-on-one where it's like, you're just thinking about the food. Don't plan a cheat meal. You don't have to plan a cheat meal. If you're going to eat something that you don't normally eat, that doesn't make it a cheat meal. It makes it an opportunity for you to practice eating a normal portion size of what are typically junk and processed foods, which is fine. You could do that without demonizing the food. But we don't want to be thinking about food all the time. There was never a word for that. About a year ago, I started hearing the term food noise. So now that's all over the place. If you haven't heard of it, food noise is just how often food is on your mind. Like, people that have healthy relationships with food don't have food on their mind all the time. But a lot of the people you see online that are fit, a lot of the people you see online that talk about diet and push really specific restrictive diets on you, think about food all the time because it's become a part of their identity and they've become so obsessed with food that it's just become what they do. I don't think about food all the time. I think about coaching all the time. I think about helping people with food all the time. But in my own day-to-day life, I'm not walking around obsessed with food, thinking about my cheat meal. When I was fat as fuck, I was thinking about food all the time. I was either thinking, God, I'm excited to eat that, or God, I feel like shit for eating that. And it was just this constant, I thought about food more than I thought about sex. I thought about food more than I thought about work. I thought about food more than I thought about anything. And that's not really good. So the second reason is because it makes you think about food all the time. And number 3 reason why cheat meals are total bullshit is it just promotes the all or nothing mentality. And we've had podcast episodes on this before. It promotes the all or nothing mentality because if you cheat on your diet, and I'm putting up air quotes, this is not on video, so you can't see me. If you cheat on your diet, that means that you're quote unquote off the wagon. People say this all the time. People in the Drop It community, in our private community, talk about this all the time. And I'm serving constant reminders. Constant reminders. This is so important. Cheating on your diet means that you're off the wagon or off track. And when you're off the wagon or off track, it's really hard to get back on the wagon and back on track. That's why dieting doesn't really make sense the way that diet culture pushes it. But it's also why cheat meals don't make sense, because when Thursday night comes around, like I was talking about earlier, and I end up overeating on a bunch of Domino's pizza, now I'm off the wagon. When I wake up on Friday, I got to get back on the wagon with what I would typically eat for breakfast, or one of my go-to breakfasts that's supporting me in my weight loss journey. But it's hard to do that because now I feel like shit because I'm off the wagon. So getting back on is really hard, especially when I go, well, I would rather just wait and just enjoy some of these. It can create some of that cyclical nature where we quit our diet for a few days and we can end up erasing a lot of progress. So number 3 is because it promotes the all or nothing mentality. And the all or nothing mentality, we know, is not sustainable for most people when it comes to diet or exercise. We're looking for balance. We are looking for balance and healthy relationship. The 4th reason why cheat meals are bullshit is that they reinforce a lot of the negative eating patterns that we have. So a ton of people have negative eating patterns, and this will be a topic of a different podcast episode, but things like eating really fast, things like standing in the kitchen when you eat, things like eating mindlessly, not connecting to your food, eating really fast and then not even remembering what your food tasted like, eating in the car on the way home from work, eating while you're watching something on Netflix, right? Like, these are typically negative eating patterns that lead to us overeating. And a lot of us, when we're losing weight, we just try to eat less food, right? Or we'll eat some quality food, but overall we're just trying to eat less calories so we can lose weight as fast as possible. The issue is that when we have a cheat meal in that situation, it kind of becomes like okay, I'm in the kitchen, I'm going to have a cheat meal. You eat your cheat meal. You're like, oh, I'm just going to have like 5 more chips. And that's like a weird thing where now you're counting food. A bunch of people do that, but no one ever talks about counting bites of food and how OCD ties into that. People never talk about, having a cheat meal and then going and getting a tub of ice cream and then just standing in the kitchen and having 2 or 3 extra bites of the ice cream. We're just constantly reinforcing these things that we know are probably not good for us because we're off the wagon, because our cheat meal is our break from what we really think we should be doing on this diet. And it just is a negative loop and creates issues where you're thinking about food and continuing to develop and reinforce a negative relationship with food. You don't have to have a cheat meal. You can just have some balance. Instead of having some big-ass cheat meal on Thursday, you can just have some more fun food every day in smaller quantities. Like, instead of eating 5 pieces of Domino's pizza on a Thursday night, or 3 pieces, or whatever that looks like for you, right? Maybe I ate more food than you did when I would have cheat meals, which is fine. I was fucking massive, and that's fine. And it's actually kind of funny to say that. But even if your cheat meals are smaller than mine were, envision that instead of having a cheat meal, you just incorporate a cookie into your diet every day. You just wake up and just eat a cookie for breakfast. Like, is that healthy for you hormonally? Probably not, to eat a cookie first thing in the morning. But what if you just woke up and with your breakfast you ate a cookie every day, and then you weren't obsessed about cookies for the rest of the day and ended up having a planned cheat meal or a binge session where you ate 6 or 7 Chips Ahoy's on a Thursday night, right? Like, how much better would it feel in your body to spread out some of the junk, fun, bullshit, processed, whatever you want to call it? Again, we're not demonizing these things, but envision that you can spread it out over the week instead of just lumping it all together and then feeling the fatigue, the tiredness, the anxiety, the depression, the self-doubt that comes with it, the lack of self-belief, the, oh, I can't believe I did that, and the criticism of self. Like, if you just didn't have any of that came from overeating on cheat meals, how much easier would it be for you to stick to your plan for life? The 5th reason why cheat meals are bullshit is it makes food a reward. Food is not a reward. Yes, you deserve food. As a human, you deserve food. But what it does is food is a reward. Cheat meals kind of make it so that you have a deserving mind. I'm going to be really good on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday so that I can earn my cheat meal. So I can earn my Big Mac, earn my Domino's pizza, earn my Blizzard from Dairy Queen. That was my thing, as you probably know at this point. This idea of earning food is not healthy at all. At all. Food is something that you have a human right to, but it's not that you deserve cheat meals. You deserve prioritizing your health. It's not that you deserve to eat 4 pieces of Domino's pizza. You deserve to eat mom's apple pie when she makes it. You deserve to eat 1 or 2 slices of pizza if it's your kid's birthday or someone at work is having a party and everyone else is eating it, so that you can experience the culture of eating that pizza without being the weird person that's quote unquote on a diet. You do absolutely deserve that, but you don't deserve a cheat meal just because you were strict on something for 2 or 3 days. We tend to think that because we were so good for 2 or 3 days that we deserve. Like, that is the issue. That is the all or nothing mentality, right? It doesn't make any sense. People that lose weight and keep it off do it for life. It's not about how strict can you be for 3 days so that you can then just have a planned break on day number 4. It's what are you doing for days, weeks, months, years, 10s, 20s, and 30s of years? What are you going to be doing at 90 years old? Do you want to be having cheat meals when you're 85, planning out your cheat meals and then looking forward to them and then being really strict for 3 days and then being less strict? No, you don't want to do that because it fucking sucks and it is exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting. Processed junk food, high calorie, low quality food as a reward doesn't make sense. And it is really reinforcing what is probably a negative relationship with food, if that's the way that you think. Because that's the way that I thought for my entire life. Even when I was losing weight, I was still thinking these things, but people thought that I was doing this great thing because I was losing weight. What I didn't realize was I was never actually learning the relationship with food I needed to keep the weight off. I was just in the cycle of constantly being strict and then rewarding myself, and then being strict and then rewarding myself. And then when I would have a cheat meal, I'd wake up 3/4 of a pound heavier and then be upset about it. And then I wouldn't have a good day because I was only happy when I was losing weight. I was only happy when I was losing weight. When I would gain weight, I would be sad. And like my whole day would suck. And then I try to make up for it by being extra strict. And by being extra strict, I would undereat, and then I would be hungry. And then I'm just in this cycle of craving things and then restricting myself. And because food was this reward system, I'm going to lose weight so I can eat the food that I really want. But what I didn't take into account was the food that you want changes once you start eating more whole, real, natural foods. That's what the common sense diet is all about. That's the second rule of the common sense diet, is to prioritize whole, real, natural foods. It's like in doing so, it wipes out this whole train of thought. This idea of cheat meals doesn't exist if you were to go a month of just eating whole, real, natural foods, which isn't, again, that is a little bit restrictive, saying that you're only going to eat a specific type of food forever. Doesn't make sense for most people. It's about balance. I eat bullshit food 1 to 2 times per week. I don't eat 3,000 to 4,000 calorie meals, but I'll get a pulled pork sandwich with a bag of chips on a Thursday night. And then I just wake up for breakfast, and then I just go back to normal programming. But this idea that all of this idea of cheat meals, you wouldn't even be I don't think about it anymore. So it's interesting for me to go back, because now I eat a diet of 90% plus whole, real, natural foods: meats, fruits, rice, vegetables, potatoes, honey for sugar. When you start eating foods that humans have been eating forever, you stop having these cravings. You start feeling so much better in your body that this idea of being super strict stops existing, because you stop craving the foods that you feel like you need to restrict yourself from. It's just really hard to get through the first few weeks. That's what people in my community are doing right now in the Common Sense Diet Bootcamp program, is they're prioritizing whole, real, natural foods, and then seeing that cravings are going away. This idea of cheat meals start going away because you don't feel like you need a cheat meal. What you're doing is actually sustainable. The only reason that you need a cheat meal is because what you're doing is not sustainable. So if you find yourself caught in this cycle of cheat meals, just know that's because you're not eating the food that you really like. And when you're not eating food that you like, it's not sustainable, because you don't want to do something that you don't like for the rest of your life just to lose weight. It's going to make you obsessed with food and make you hate your fucking life and hate eating. And then the sixth reason why cheat meals are bullshit is they just erase a lot of the progress. And it ties in, again, to the cyclical nature of diet culture, right? I would literally, when I was fat as fuck, I was always either gaining or losing weight. But during, the 3 to 4 months per year when I'd lose, 50 plus pounds for 5 or 6 years in a row, I would lose weight, sometimes 4 or 5 pounds, Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday, have my planned cheat meals or my planned breaks, where I would just gain the weight back on the weekends, and I would erase 80 to 90 to 100% or more. Sometimes I'd gain weight by having these planned cheat meals. And all 6 of these things are so closely linked, right? That ties back into this idea of losing weight on the weekdays and gaining weight on the weekends. It ties back into dieting instead of prioritizing your health. It ties back into me thinking about food all the time. It ties back into promoting the all or nothing mentality. It ties back into reinforcing negative eating patterns. It ties back into my weekends are my reward. Now I love my weekends and I hate my weekdays because I'm so strict. It's all. Do you want any of these things? Like, is any of those things that I named something that you actually want forever? Or is it something that you feel like you need to do to lose weight? Because you don't need to do these things to lose weight. You can do these things to lose weight. You have maybe a 98% chance of gaining the weight back. I'm pulling that number out of my ass. But almost everyone gains the weight back because this is how we've been told to diet. You don't actually need to diet. And since you're not dieting, you're just prioritizing your health by eating more whole, real, natural foods and using common sense on the common sense diet, in quotes, facetious. All of this is bullshit. The idea of cheat meals don't even make logical sense. You see people online like bodybuilders, people that are cutting and bulking throughout the year, doing cheat meals, but they're obsessed with food. It's literally their career. Literally their career is in food and lifting weights, and that's a lot of what we're looking at, and that's what we're looking to for inspiration. that's not what I do for a living. Like, if that's what you do for a living, then this doesn't apply to you. But if you resonate with my own story, if you resonate with the cyclical nature in which I've lost and gained weight, and you resonate with feeling bad about being fat, and you resonate with the way that I talk about weight loss as the ultimate teacher and how much you can learn about these other areas of life, recognize that the way to achieve those things, the way that I achieved those things, was just by saying, actually, cheat meals, it just doesn't, the word doesn't even resonate with me. So much of this comes down to language. Whatever you say is true. Whatever you believe is true. Saying the word cheat meal changes the way you look at food. Literally, when you say it, like, think about cheating. Would you cheat on your wife? Would you cheat on your husband? Like, no, you fucking wouldn't. There is no cheating on your health. You can cheat on your diet because your diet is bullshit. Your health is not bullshit. Don't cheat yourself. Don't cheat your health. You owe it to yourself to stop cheating. Enjoy mom's apple pie. Eat it when she makes it. Don't call her up and say, Mom, I want a pie, and then go eat 3 pieces of it. Don't call up your buddy and say, hey, I want Big Mac. I want a Big Mac because I'm hungry. Don't stop by and getting fast food every day on the way home. It's like, that's the difference between a cheat meal and prioritizing your health. Stop cheating on your health. No one else is going to prioritize your health for you, and it's, who the fuck am I? Who am I to be on this podcast trying to tell you how to live your life, right? Sometimes I feel like that when I talk into this microphone alone in the corner of my apartment, but there's just a reality to getting out of this pattern. It's so much more about your mentality than it is about what you're fucking eating. It's so much more about why you are eating something than it is what you're eating. I'm going to say that again, but the other way around. Write this down. Pause this after I say it. Write it down. Take a screenshot of it and add it to the favorites on your phone, or write it on your mirror. Sustainable weight loss is so much less about what you are eating and so much more about why you are eating it. Sustainable weight loss is so much less about what you are eating and so much more about why you are eating it. Why are you having a cheat meal? Like, if you ever asked yourself, why am I having a cheat meal? If you take away one thing from this podcast episode and you're someone that has cheat meals, just why? I'm having cheat meals because it makes it so that I have something to look forward to. That's a problem. I'm having cheat meals because I know deep down inside that what I'm doing isn't sustainable. When you really ask yourself, is what you're doing sustainable? You already know the answer. Everything that I'm telling you, your body already knows. Should you just close your eyes, take a breath, and really tune into it, look yourself in the mirror, be really honest with yourself. If you're having cheat meals, you know that what you're doing isn't sustainable unless you want to be thinking about this shit every day for the rest of your life. I don't want that. And I know you don't want that either. It's just that our brains have been wired incorrectly by the things that we're seeing online. And that's why nobody ever keeps the weight off. So if you want to lose the weight, you want to keep the weight off forever. When you catch yourself in that idea of cheat meals, just recognize that it's inherently unsustainable for most people. Just try not having a cheat meal by just eating small portions of whatever foods you actually like. If it's a cookie, you're like obsessed with cookies, like eat a couple times a week, eat a fucking cookie. In practice, sitting with the discomfort of it. If you have cravings, you don't know how to work through it, go on my Instagram. I have a free guide on how to work through cravings. It's totally free. You don't have to, it's not charged. I'm not making money on it. You can literally just create a plan for yourself on how to work through, right? And that's why it's so tough, because there's always like another layer. Oh, I stopped my cheat meals. It's not that simple, because when I stop my cheat meals, then I have cravings. Then what do? Well, if you have cravings, then we have to address why you have cravings. And that's a whole nother podcast episode. But when you keep going through the cycle of why, and you keep getting to the next step, you eventually get down to, oh, this is actually sustainable. But most of us get discouraged at, yeah, but then this thing is going to come up. If I stop having cheat meals, then I'm going to keep craving pizza all the time, and I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to keep having cheat meals. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. We want the easy button. It's not going to work unless you take Ozempic. It's not going to work unless you get a gastric sleeve surgery, because those things are going to decrease your hunger hormone. So if you're not doing those things, that might be the right choice for some people. I lost weight naturally. I have a certain pride in losing weight naturally. I have no ill will towards anyone that is choosing to not do it naturally. You have to make the best decision for yourself, what you know about yourself. That being said, if you decide that you want to lose weight naturally, you have to learn how to get through cravings. You have to learn why you're having cravings. You have to learn what you're craving, how to work through it, how to develop a healthier relationship with food, and recognize that they will go away should you just learn how to eat more whole, real, natural foods in healthier quantities. That's the case for 99% of people. If you made it to the end of this podcast episode, I greatly appreciate you being here. And like, I get this shit sucks. Like, I get that cheat meals are so hardwired into our brain. I think there's people selling the ideas of cheat meals and how to have better cheat meals. Look, just don't have them. And then when other issues come up from not having cheat meals, well, now I feel like I want to binge. Now I feel like I have cravings. Now, yes, then address those issues separately. Those are separate issues from the cheat meal. The cheat meal is a Band-Aid solution to your unsustainable weight loss mindset. And that's okay. But now you have the knowledge, and there's so much that you can do about it. So if you have any specific questions about what you can do to work through cheat meals or how you can deal with some of these issues that are coming up, shoot me a voice note or a video message on Instagram. I will respond with equal effort every single time. You're not in this alone. There's a bunch of people on Instagram that are following me that ask me these questions all the time. There's also an entire community of people that are on the exact same journey, and most people in the community are dealing with very, very similar issues, maybe just at different points in their journey. So you can join there if you need more support as well. And if you made it to the end of the episode, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple. It's the best thing that you can do to support me as a creator and in my mission to help people lose weight. So if you find it helpful, just leave an honest review, anywhere from 1 to 5 stars, and it helps the content get pushed out to other people. Hope everyone has a great rest of your week, and you absolutely have what it takes to lose weight and keep it off forever.